Well, you've heard the saying, some people aren't born to be leaders, others have it thrust upon them. Still others learn by studying leadership styles and then writing about them. My next guest has done just that. He has researched 18,000 leaders in more than 300 organizations throughout North America and Asia, and he's found a common denominator and 7 guiding principles among that group. Here to tell us what those are is the author of this book, Leadership IQ, Emmett Murphy, joining us today. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Good to be here, Bill.
You have discovered this worker leader, right? I mean,
well, that's really an interesting issue. Yes, we found that the key characteristic that unfolded the skills that it takes to be a leader has been experiencing what your people experience, living the experience of your people, we say, working up in the front lines. We found that was absolutely, without exception, a single criterion for making it leadership.
Leaders can be developed. They don't have to be born.
Well, in fact, I don't think they're born. I just think, if we look at Churchill, we look at Roosevelt, we look at Lincoln, they all had their knocks in life, so to speak. They picked themselves up, dusted off, and they learned. They're just inveterate learners.
Let's go through these 7, a few of the 7 principles. We may not have time for all of them, but you have to, the 7 guiding principles of being a leader, you have to be an achiever, first of all.
Well, that's absolutely key. And I should say here that the reason this is so important is that we wanted to find out scientifically what really counts. I think we wanted to get past personal opinion. When we looked at these 18,000 people, 1,029 emerged as really seminally influential. The first characteristic is that they're achievers. They make it on their own. They have the ability to stand up and be counted. They really get ahead by what they know, rather than being celebrity leaders, getting ahead of who they know, or manipulating or buying their influence.
Being pragmatic speaks for itself. Practice strategic humility. What is that?
That's a fascinating concept. Being intellectually, emotionally flexible. These are powerhouse people. And they're not the type, they're not wallflowers, yet they have the capacity to say, I do not know.
Ask those questions.
I think that's one of the things. When was the last time we've heard our national leaders say, I don't know?
And be customer focused. That's very important in the 90s here, isn't it?
Well, it is, but this is more than just being customer focused. It's service focused. It's believing that your existence and your identity is wrapped up in service to others.
Committed.
Staying the course.
That would just be, I would think, part of the practical package anyway.
Yes, but we don't train or teach emotional toughness the way we need to. These folks demonstrated that resilience of spirit that really takes to survive.
This one I believe fully in, being an optimist.
Well, you heard Dole say that over the weekend, and I hope we hear Clinton say it, but think of Lincoln, who was clinically depressed, yet spoke to the better angels of our nature. In other words, these folks have learned that the tough knocks train you to have hope. And then perhaps the final one, I know you're leading
accept
towards.
Responsibility.
These people
that's
stand
something
up and
that's
count it.
so tough for people to accept these things.
One of the things we did, Bill, was we wanted to define these in clinical and scientific terms so you could measure them. So we broke them down into behaviors, and we packaged them in terms of scripts and tools so that we could define this very concretely, because I think we were all tired of opinions and anecdotes. And what our purpose was in this book was to get past opinion and anecdote, to offer a scientific solution, a practical plan for developing those skills.
It really does start within. You asked some executives and leaders to rank what they felt were the most important parts of becoming a leader. And the average leaders said the number 1 was having the support of your organization. But number 1 among the super leaders were those who felt you needed to be competent to begin with. You yourself have to bring something to the table.
Exactly. Think of yourself right here. Every day you're held accountable. Right here. There's no escaping your own personal accountability. That's the type of thing that characterizes the people who make things happen in our society. By the way, they're spread wonderfully throughout all aspects of our society, except for conspicuously one arena. Politics.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you make the differentiation early on between a true leader and a celebrity.
Yeah, the one who searches for the spotlight, always trying to please someone. The achievement leader, the person who really makes the difference in our lives, is somebody who's trying to achieve something fundamentally important.
Mr. Murphy, I enjoyed the book. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Emmett Murphy, the author of Leadership IQ, joining us today.